What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, I'm finally talking about it. It's been a couple weeks, it's been out already, but finally I'm getting around to talking about Marvel's Black Panther. Yeah, I did have a video that was supposed to come out where I'm not wearing this at all. I'm actually wearing an awesome shirt that I got recently that says Wakanda with a kind of a Wu-Tang W with some flash marks on it and everything. I recorded this review that I did, and unfortunately I lost all the footage. I guess that review wasn't good enough, so here I am doing a new one, and I thought what better time to do it now than a day where I'm actually wearing the colors of the Wakandan protector himself, purple and black, which I think I look pretty damn good in. I am going to be talking about the movie Black Panther, and because it's been out for a little while, now I can delve into spoilers and really tell you how I feel about it. Let's dive into my review of Black Panther. So Black Panther actually begins, not in Wakanda, but it actually begins in 1992 in Oakland, California. We see these two people who are plotting kind of a, I don't know if it's a heist or something going on, but basically what happens is one of them is the brother of the king of Wakanda. This is around the time when what was alluded to in Age of Ultron, where Ulysses Claw had actually stolen a good portion of vibranium, and it comes to find, as we see a young Black Panther, T'Chaka, confronting his brother, that his brother was part of the key reason why Claw was able to even infiltrate and get into it. T'Chaka, T'Challa's father, had ended up killing his brother, and it has repercussions that later haunt his son T'Challa. So after a small opening scene, the film ends up opening up with T'Challa a week after his father's death, so he's being christened as the king, but also he's continuing his duties as the protector of Wakanda as well, being the Black Panther. And one of the cool things about this is it has the kind of side story feel to it, almost like Spider-Man Homecoming, but it stands on its own legs, of course, because it is a great film and it has its own story to tell. So basically the premise of the film that we find is that the Wakandans have actually tracked down Claw, who, as you remember, stole a bunch of vibranium and was branded as a killer and a murderer. And so after apprehending Claw, T'Challa and his agents actually come in contact with Eric Killmonger, who, as we find out later in the film, as he becomes the main antagonist after killing Claw, is of Wakandan heritage because he is the son of the second prince of Wakanda, N'Jobu, who was T'Challa's father's brother, who was killed because he actually betrayed his own people. So one of the things about this is that Eric Killmonger is now on a road to retribution. He ends up overthrowing T'Challa. People think T'Challa's dead, and he takes over as the Black Panther and as the King of Wakanda. Later on, though, we do find T'Challa is still alive. He comes back, and with the help of his friends, he ends up fighting Killmonger and eventually winning back the rule over Wakanda. And honestly, guys, it was a great ride. I mean, there's not much more I can say about it other than the fact that I really enjoyed this film, particularly where the characters absolutely love Shuri, who is T'Challa's sister and the tech head resident. She makes Tony Stark's stuff look elementary. And part of the themes of this film is the fact that their technology is so advanced, but they never let outsiders in. So it was really kind of a weird take on a certain, or not weird, but an interesting take on the storyline. It's like, do we leave outsiders away from us? Do we keep them out? Or do we actually spread our intelligence and kind of try and help the world and be better? That's kind of where another character, Nakia, is coming from, who is also actually T'Challa's ex, but also becomes like the love interest character in this film for him. For anyone who knows the comics, she actually does become a villain against T'Challa at some point. Which is probably one of the reasons why he ended up marrying Storm. Okoye, one of T'Challa's generals. And I loved Michael B. Jordan's Eric Killmonger. I mean, it's very rare that characters such as antagonists rival the main character's depth, but this guy had oodles of depth. He was awesome. He was badass. He had like this swagger about him, and he rocked this role. I mean, it was so cool to see him on screen and just be just this like arrogant son of a bitch who just didn't give a single F about anything. He had no remorse whatsoever. And even at the end, when T'Challa is looking to save him and saying, maybe we can see if we can save you, he's like, no, I'm not like that. I'm not going to live a life where I have to be in servitude and everything to you, basically. And it's like, I don't bow to nobody. I don't know what it is. I really like it when you get a character or a villain that actually kind of matches the power and the strength of the good guy. I mean, you have a mirror image, basically, of T'Challa in Eric Killmonger. If he hadn't been born of the right father, if he hadn't been in the right lifestyle, if he hadn't been raised the right way, he could have easily ended up like his cousin, Eric Killmonger, did in this film, and it was kind of an awesome duality and dichotomy that was running through the film amongst the other themes that you had in this film. I mean, you had issues of isolationism. Should we be sharing with outsiders? Should we be reaching out, helping hand to people that might potentially kill us and basically hurt us? And of course, one of the big things is the uproar of the politics in this film. Honestly, guys, I hate politics. I don't want to mix politics with film and stuff that I love. I mean, and the unfortunate thing is everything is subjective whenever it comes to art. So if you're watching this, you might think that it's related to something. I personally feel that it's not. I mean, I feel like they had the story down pat before any political thing happened, whether you're talking about the election or anything like that. But again, I don't want to muddy the waters. I'm not here to get on my soapbox about politics. I just don't care about this because, you know what? It's none of my business, and your politics is not my business either, and I don't want to deal with that. But at the end of the day, one thing I can say is that I really did like this film. I give it an 8.5, 9 out of 10. And honestly, guys, I say that these people right here that made this film, they focused on making a great film first and foremost. There's nothing deeper that I need to look for other than the fact that the film was excellent and it looked great. And I think that the story fits well with the Black Panther character and all the people that we saw in this film, hands down. Complaint-wise, I don't have many major complaints. I mean, let's be real though. This is like an amalgamation of a few Marvel movies that we've seen, but it's all rolled into one and kind of stirred up a little bit. You know what I mean? It feels like Thor 1. It feels like Iron Man. It feels like Guardians of the Galaxy, because we were exposed to a breadth of new characters that we'd never met or seen before, aside from T'Challa, of course, who was a badass in Civil War and is still just as much of a badass here. And for me personally, I do think that this was definitely top 10, top 5 for best Marvel films of the 18 that we have out now. I know Kevin Feige said that this was the most important film that they had ever made. I feel like every film that comes out afterwards is the most important film that they've ever made. Now, in regards to black actors and stuff like that, this is so important actually because in that respect, this film shows you that it's a myth to say that no film can be successful if it's a bunch of minority actors and stuff like that. I mean, this should show you how much interest and how much success can be had regardless of any of that stupidity. Stop dragging that into films. Stop trying to say that that's the reason why films don't work and stuff like that. Just focus on making a great film like this. Just focus on making something that's great for the audience, that has great, powerful messages, because I don't care who you are. Black, white, Hispanic, whatever. This film's got great messages, and this film is for everybody. It's a good family film. It's a good film for you, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, anybody. I highly recommend this film. And on top of that, the soundtrack is the best soundtrack for a superhero movie I have heard in a long, long time. And by far, my favorite song for me personally is The Ways by Khalid and Sway Lee. But anyway, guys, that's all the time that I have for today. I really did enjoy this movie. Again, like I say, 8.5, 9 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, go and see this movie. I saw it twice already, and I'm hoping to go a third time before it gets taken out of IMAX because I want to see it in its full depth and everything, and I want to see what they did with the IMAX technology that they did with certain things in this film. You know, some films, the 3D animation or the IMAX isn't worth it, but then other films, you get so much out of it. And you know what? I'm really hoping that I can do it for my third time, but that will remain to be seen. But enough about that, guys. Did you see Black Panther or didn't you see it yet? What are your thoughts on the film itself, and what are your favorite moments in the film if you have seen it? Like, comment, subscribe, leave all the feedback down below, even if it's negative feedback. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye.